Good evening. Thank you for coming, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Lieutenant Nate Trent. I work for the Village Fire Department, and I am just one of the 25 or 26 instructors that teach your family members on the Fire Academy. We are very blessed to have 24-3 as a full company. We started with 53 students, and we have ended with 39, which is pretty good for us. It's a large academy. But we see a lot of them grow and become adults in this academy. How many of you guys have seen them clean a little more or respect their bodies a little more? Anybody? Okay. We usually have some that have never cleaned a toilet, and that's one of the skills they learn really quick in this is how to clean. So we're very proud of that. We teach them how to be adults in this academy. So we are going to have a big event tonight, and I'm going to introduce a bunch of different speakers, but let's get your wonderful family members and friends in here. Okay, so like I said, we have 25 to 26 different instructors that will work from different departments around the state. We tell these students every single day that every day is an interview, and a lot of us get to see them grow and become firefighters in the making, and we'll hopefully take our places as we retire. So all of that is led by one director. His name is Director Joe Bennett. He's been in the fire service for, goodness, longer than I've been alive. And we don't call him old in the fire service, we call him seasoned. He's very seasoned, but he's been with OSU-OKC. He's built this program from the ground up. We started with working out in a gym for physical fitness to having our own facility and multiple different fire trucks. So this is Director Joe Bennett. He's, like I said, been here since 2019 and grown it to what it is. Please put your hands together for him.
Stand. I would like to pledge allegiance. Pledge my allegiance
to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. Please be seated. Everybody can join us today. We have a long history of the fire service at OSU. In the 1940s, we started teaching firefighter classes at OSU Stillwater. And then in the early 1970s, we started teaching firefighter classes here at OSU-OKC. The program's been around for quite some time, as you can tell. I myself started out as a student here. And then became an adjunct instructor, temporary instructor, and an adjunct instructor until they eventually made me the program director. And they've regretted it ever since. As far as what we do here, Mr. Trent was correct. When we first started out here, I have one of my original students sitting up here in front. He can attest. I think we had about 150 foot of fire hose, no fire truck, and a couple of hand tools. To train them how to get through tight spaces, we would take chairs and sit them on the floor and sneak through the chairs to teach them how to get through confined spaces. Now we have multiple rigs, we have all the toys that you could almost ask for, and the program, as you can tell, has grown substantially. Now our graduates, after spending 14 weeks with us, have earned several things. They've had the opportunity to test for IFSAC certification, which is their national firefighter certification. It lets them go anywhere in the world. The certificate you earn here at Oklahoma City is good in Japan, Saudi Arabia. Even one of my students, his first fire job was in Antarctica. So, it's a good program. That being said, the stuff that the students take away other than those is everyone gets a badge, alumni badge for completing this program. It kind of goes back to our military ways. A lot of our instructors are prior service military, myself included. So that gives us a patch that identifies that you're part of this program. They also receive a challenge coin, same thing, military history, identifies that you're from this program, right? So that's the two things that they receive. Going back on the fire, I talked about the OSU history, but there's the traditions that we have in the fire service are also important to us as well. As you see, we have bagpipes. The students enter in bagpipes. The reason all that started is around 1845-ish, when the Irish potato famine was occurring. All the Scot-Irish started migrating to the United States because they were starving and they were penniless. Back in those days, no one wanted to be a firefighter or a police officer. It had a very high fatality rate. So the only jobs that the Scot-Irish could get were police and fire jobs. And that's where our tradition comes, where you hear the pipes every time we have any kind of ceremony. Whenever somebody was killed in the fire service, they would have the traditional Scot-Irish funeral procession, pipes in the front, and then would pipe them to their interment. And we've kept the tradition since then. We keep this set around. These are actually my personal. I used to be in a bagpipe band. Now I can't hum a tune, but it won't sound all right. So we just put them on display. That being said, we have a good, great speaker tonight, Chief Greenwood. He's got 38 years in the fire service, Chief. Retired Oklahoma City Fire. How many grandchildren? 7 grandchildren. I almost got you. I'm getting close. Yeah. Has been married to his wife for over 38. You got me beat. Yeah. But Chief is actually one of our instructors. He came on board. He teaches hazmat. He is a hazmat guru. Travels nationwide teaching hazmat classes, which that is saying something since I can't even spell hazmat. Right? But Chief, you want to come up?
Thank you, Director Bennett. Good evening. Thank you very much for being here and supporting these young people. I was very fortunate, as Director Bennett said, that I had the opportunity to work with these guys several days. I think it's several days that they would like to forget. But I think when they get to their point and when they do get to start riding those big red trucks, they're gonna be glad that they had that information that's out there. I ask you to indulge me just a little bit because, like Chief said, I'm starting to notice that I'm pushing 4 decades of service to the fire service, if you will. I did a little over 35 years with Oklahoma City. So a lot of what I've seen and I see that's happening, it's rooted in the past. So if you would, please indulge me because essentially the message that I have is for them. So you're going to see me turn and look at them quite a bit with this message because they are our future. They are our future. So please stand. Please bear with me. I like to quote Chief Edward Croker from the New York City Fire Department. Years ago, years and years, I'm talking about the last century, he said, "I have no ambition in this world but one, and that is to be a firefighter. The position may, in the eyes of some, appear to be lowly, a lowly one, but we who know the work which the firefighter must believe that is his a noble calling. There is an adage which says that nothing can be destroyed except by fire. We strive to preserve from destruction the wealth of the world, which is the product of the industry of men, necessary for the comfort of both the rich and the poor. We are defenders. We are defenders from fires of the art which has beautified the world, the product of the genius of men and the means of refinement of mankind. But above all, our proudest endeavor is to save the lives of men, the work of God Himself. Under the impulse of such thoughts, the nobility of the occupation thrills us and stimulates us to the deeds of daring, even at the supreme sacrifice that we may see. Such considerations may not strike the average mind, but they are sufficient to fill the limit of our ambition in the life and to make us serve the general purpose of human society. That was written before 1900 by a fire chief from New York City. Thank you for your service. Thank you for your service. Hey, thank you for your service. I really appreciate you so much. I don't know what we would do without you. You guys heard any of that before? How many in the military in this room served? Sir, have we heard this? Thank you for your service. Thank you for your service. That's one of the things that we look at when we talk about some of the things we see. And if it hasn't happened to you yet, I'd be willing to bet you're going to see it happen to you. There'll be that day that somebody will come up to you and just out of the blue. It might be one of these little toddlers. They'll walk up to you, outstretched arms looking at you, pulling their mom, pulling their dad, pulling their grandparents, and then one of those adults will put their hands out and say, thank you for your service. But when I look at that and I think about that, I start wondering, what's the root reason? Why does the public say such a thing? When I start thinking about why are the citizens looking at us in that way, what causes them to show us such appreciation? Why are they showing such affection? What is it that we're doing or what we can do that would cause them to feel that way and talk to us as firefighters? You think about it, our top priority as firefighters, when it comes to what it is we're supposed to be doing, when we talk about responding to these calls, I'm talking about meeting the needs of the citizens. We show up on the scenes and we're there to help them. When we know that our job involves fighting structure fires, we know it means showing up on grass fires. It could be a hazmat incident. It could be a rescue incident. It could be an EMS call. It could be a rescue call. It could be any number of things that is expected of us. Those are the glamorous things, right? Those are the glamorous things that we see, that we can see, that we know that we responding to, and we're there expected to handle that. Of course, then there's some other things, that aren't so glamorous, if you will. And a lot of firefighters out there, they like the glamorous stuff. I can look at the cadre of instructors, my friends, my brethren, and I can ask them, every one of them, hey, what would you rather do? Make a structure fire or make an EMS call? And what do you think every one of them would say? Oh, structure fire, most definitely, because that's where we're at. That's what we're looking at. That's the glamorous side of that. So we start thinking about what we can do there. But keep in mind, there's also the not so glamorous side that we're going to be expected and that we'll have to be able to do when we're talking about that. And the one thing I want you to understand, that if you're a firefighter and you call yourself a firefighter and you profess to be a firefighter, but you don't see that is something that needs to be done, if you're unprepared or unwilling or even upset about performing that side of the call, that side of it, you probably don't want to be doing that. There's serious risk for people that don't accept all sides of this. Let me ask you a question. Anybody know who Mrs. Smith is? Don't know anybody know who Mrs. Smith is? I'll be quite honest. For the longest time, I didn't understand who Mrs. Smith is. Mrs. Smith, essentially, guys, is the person or the why that we're firefighters. Mrs. Smith is the one that reaches out to us and makes the phone call. She's the one that makes the 911 phone call. She's our whole world, if you will. She is there, and that is why the fire service is there for the delivery. She's the original customer that we're looking at and that we're there to take care of. She represents our communities as well and endures the broad spectrum of problems that we might see. She's the one that we have to correct and fix the problems. That's what we're there for. She's the very person that calls 911. She's the one that makes the call. What time do those calls come in? Anytime, right? 3 o'clock in the morning, 1 o'clock in the morning, 12 o'clock in the afternoon, 5 o'clock in the afternoon. Oh, I don't know, the third time during dinner when you're at the fire station. Or maybe you're on that 6th call since midnight and you don't get off work until 7 o'clock in the morning. This is all part of it. Those are our customers. See, we're part of that system that she needs and that she expects us that is there. There's no opportune time that we'll see that incident's going to happen. And you have to be aware of that and know that. So why does she call, or what does she call for? Well, we know structure fires. And every one of those, yeah, we'd all think about, hey, let's go, right? We would beat feet to get in there and get on a big red truck and take off and make that incident. But what are some of the other reasons? I don't know. How about a carbon monoxide or a smoke detector that's been beeping all day, but they decided to call you at 3 o'clock in the morning? That's the same thing. What about she's sick? Maybe she has a loved one that's sick. Maybe her cat is stuck in the tree or on the roof or in the culvert. But then after you go and you rescue the cat, guess what? It's not her cat after all. It happens. Okay? You laugh, it's true. Experience right here. Her front porch light's burned out. How about she's just lonely? So we do more than just fight fires. There's more to the job than just showing up on the big red trucks. Because you have to understand that when Mrs. Smith calls and she needs us, that's the worst day of her life. It might not be the worst thing to you in your life, but to her, to the citizens, to the person on the other end, they're calling you for a reason. And that's what our job is. That's what they want us, and that's what they need us to do. You are part of that system. You are what stands between their worst day and everything else. Keep that in mind. Even at 1 o'clock in the morning, and you're like, oh my gosh, what's going on now? We got to place Mrs. Smith as our top priority. We always begin our response with the assumption that we're going to save lives. When the call drops, we're going to save lives. At the very least, we're going to make a life better for somebody. That's what we're looking for. When we start thinking about those types of things, we will respond as quickly and safely as possible. We'll respond without bias. We'll critically think about solving problems. We're going to dare to think about that worst case scenario. We are going to look at the no-win scenario, and we're going to create an answer. That's what we do. When Mrs. Smith calls 911, she expects one thing. What do you think it is? Well, I'll answer that before you do, because I know you know the answer. Fix the problem. That's the one thing she expects out of us. Fix the problem. When those big red trucks show up, the one thing that Mrs. Smith knows is everything's getting better. Everything's getting better. It's always there. You have to understand, Mrs. Smith calls 911. We don't have a 912 that we can call. So how do we do that? We look at that. We go back, like I said, we think about the no-win scenarios, the worst case scenarios that are out there. The only care, when you think about this, during an emergency, the public does not care if you're staffed with 2 people on the rig, 3 people on the rig, 4 people on the rig. They don't care. And again, it sounds like I'm speaking ill of the public. I'm not. They're just uneducated because they don't know the sacrifice that you've done. But guess what? That's your choice, correct? That's what you're there for. That's what you need there. So when you think about that, the only care that they've got or that they know is that you're willing to put yourself in between them and the bad stuff. You're willing to do something for their loved ones. You're there to make their day better. So what does all that mean? What is it expected of us? Again, we got to realize and we should understand that the needs of the many, many, many times outweigh the needs of the few. And it could outweigh the needs of the ones, us. Guess what? We might not get to eat a hot dinner. Guess what? We might not be able to get a full night's sleep. Or guess what? We might have to stay late on shift to take care of what needs to be taken care of. Those are the things that you are signing on to do, guys. And I want you to have wide eyes and open and thinking about that. As professionals, we must know and understand who comes first. Like I said, in the environment, it's our customers, it's the citizens. They need us as firefighters that can act swiftly and overwhelmingly to prevent or to diminish harm and work so that they can win, so that they can live, they can survive. They need professionals, and that's what we have to be. We can't do this job 8, 9, 10 days a month to be proficient at it. You have to be a student of the job. You have to continually look at this. Think about this. If you had to have brain surgery on a loved one, do you want the doctor that looks at the books 8, 9, 10 days a month? No. I want the best. And that's what we have to be. We have to be the best. We got to be professionals that can survive the work, because dying on the fire ground will always take away from effectiveness. We're not signing on to this job to die. This is an inherently dangerous job. We all understand that. And we keep that right here and knowing that in our knowledge. But we also have to understand that there's a consistent quality of service that we have to strive for to continually improve what it is that we're doing, that service that we're providing to them. We need to understand that firefighters are willing to learn and develop to be better to serve the citizens. Chief Croker also said, this was after 5 firefighters passed away, were killed on an incident scene. He said, firefighters are going to get killed. When they join the department, they face that fact. When a man or a woman becomes a firefighter, his or her greatest act of bravery has been accomplished. What they do after that is all in the line of work, the line of duty. They were not thinking of getting killed when they were where they went where death lurked. They went there to put out the fire and got killed. Firefighters do not regard themselves as heroes because they do not do what the business requires. I had this very quote. I heard this when I was in a recruit academy. I started my career, I think it's behind me, down the hill, 1986, 1987, okay? That's when I started my career. They said that quote right there in my rookie class. I took it, I wrote it down. I taped it to my locker. And it stayed in my locker from the time that I was on the rigs to the time I retired. And I looked at it every shift to remind myself of what it was that I was doing. Consider this, guys. We have a job to do, and those of us who put on that uniform to do that job, when we're out there doing that according to what we've been doing and what the training we've received from the people who've done it before us, these instructors. Director Bennett said there was over 25 of us. I couldn't even begin to add up the years of experience that you have been exposed to. See how I worked that hazmat in there, guys? Been exposed to. But when you think about it, what they have done, those instructors know and have worked through the risks on the job. They know what to expect. They know what you're going to be seeing. They understand that is what is at stake and the impact a well-trained firefighter will do once they get on the job. They have helped to lay out the answers to the problems that you're going to see and help you figure out how to fix those problems day in and day out. Keep in mind, guys, our primary responsibility is to serve ourselves. When we serve ourselves, we serve everybody. We serve ourselves, we serve our family, we serve our citizens. Our primary responsibility is to ourselves. We are here to save lives again. We're here to save lives, protect property, and get out alive. That's what we're doing. When we look at this, we take and think and look about what the situation is. When there is a chance to save a life, risk your life to do so, that's all right. But you have to look at that and see what it is that's being asked of you. I was always told, you risk a lot to save a life. That means that in a situation where someone's life is in danger, even if it means putting yourself in a significant personal risk, you should take action to try to save them. Risk versus gain. You look and see what it is and what's the likely outcome of it. So you look at that personal risk, you should take the action, like I said, prioritizing the preservation of life over your own safety, even if it requires a large gamble. You make that decision. If there's no chance, guys, if there's no chance, I'm sorry. You say a prayer for that person. You say a prayer for that person, the about to be deceased, if you will. You gear up and you get to work and do everything the best you can. This is an inherently dangerous job. I said it already once. You have to remember that. We must acknowledge this when we take the oath. There is no glory in dying, guys. I'm telling you that right now. Fighting for your life with every ounce of energy that you have so that your children, your wives, your husbands, your mothers, your fathers, your families need not mourn your loss is very honorable. If you finish 20, 25, 30, 35 years, that's amazing and that's fantastic. That is a goal worth having. Continue to do that. We are no braver, keep in mind, guys, we are no braver than the person on the street that sees a car coming and a child or a person falls down in front of it. And that person jumps out there and rescues them and pulls them out of the way. Or that person, that citizen, that hears that there's a baby inside and a child inside the building and goes and tries to make a grab. The difference that we see here, and keep in mind, is, courage is everywhere. Like I said, courage is everywhere. But guess what? We're not average people, are we? Have you started figuring that out where we're just a little different? I mean, we run into fires, right? That's not the same thing. Would you guys agree? That's not the same thing? Yeah, you're going to start seeing a difference in them, by the way. They start looking at the fires. They start getting closer to them. Just keep that in mind. Fires who do not value their lives and think it's noble to die because it's their job, they're not good. Those are the type of people that put themselves in danger, put other good firefighters in danger. We have chosen this vocation. Nobody put a gun to our heads when we're doing this. What I'm asking you to do is just be smart about what it is you're doing. We need to understand the risk and the sacrifices of those risks and those sacrifices that are on our own free will. I'll tell you this, after so many years in the fire service, I can tell you one thing I do believe. As a member of the fire service discipline, whether I was a firefighter and now I'm a fire instructor, I know what I know and what I do not know has life and death consequences for me and anybody else. Think about that. What I do and what I don't know. That's why I said again, 9, 10 days a month is not enough to be a student of this job. Our noblest deeds of daring are measured by having the courage to do each task. Each task that you have to do, you do it 100% correctly, 100% of the time. You do this to the point where you can't make a mistake. You do this to the point when it's automatic. It's like tying your shoes. Do you think about when you tie your shoes? No, it's automatic. That's what you're striving to in this situation. Keep in mind, guys, that whenever we're dispatched on these as well, there's always something wrong. So that's why we're going. Keep that in mind. Our supreme sacrifice is achieved when there is no injury or death or loss from the fire. Hey, that's the win. But guess what? That hardly ever happens. That hardly ever happens. We always lose something. If it's stuff, good. Stuff is replaced. And we do everything we can to protect life. As firefighters, we honor the past because many people and events have put us here today. I've quoted Chief Croker a couple of times. I'll be doing that at least one more time. But we're here because of that today. We celebrate the precious present. What's going on right now? We're celebrating what you're doing and what you're achieving right now. We think about the accomplishments and much more of tomorrow and what it brings is what we look at. Because we're not sure what's going to happen in the future. We can only start preparing for it. One last quote from Chief Croker, as I said, about what's like being a firefighter. And he said this, I've seen this, I heard this read at graduations. I've seen it many times, like when the chiefs or has a chief's type of conference, they'll put it inside one of the little folder deals for you to read somewhat. But the one thing that made me do this years ago was I looked up Chief Croker to see what kind of person he was. I'll be quite honest, guys, he's a tough guy. He's a tough firefighter. He was larger than life. He was probably one of the best firefighters in his generation. And I think he'd be hell on wheels in 2024. So to see what he can do even from back then. What he said, I have no ambition in this world but one, and that is to be a firefighter. The position may, in the eyes of some, appear to be a lowly one, but we who know the work which a firefighter must believe, that is his noble calling. There is an adage which says nothing can be destroyed except by fire. We strive to preserve from destruction the wealth of the world, which is the product of the industry of men, necessary for the comfort of both the rich and the poor. We are defenders from fires of the art, which has beautified the world, the product of genius of men and the means of refinement of mankind. But above all, our proudest endeavor is to save lives of man, the work of God himself. Under the impulse of such thoughts, the nobility of the occupation thrills us and stimulates us to deeds of daring, even at the supreme sacrifice. Such considerations may not strike the average mind, but they are sufficient to fill the limit of our ambition in life and to make us serve the general purpose of human society. Again, you look at that and you read that and you can see what he's getting at. It translates into modern times. So to sum this up, for me, I said again, many years of service, fire shifts I had, I was told numerous times, thank you for your service. Again, I'll be honest, there's times I just felt embarrassed. I wasn't embarrassed to be a firefighter. It's just that, and again, you look at this cadre of instructors, they'll tell you, if somebody's showing you that appreciation, you can't almost, you get kind of that embarrassment feeling, thank you, I appreciate it. It's okay. I really appreciate, thank you for that. I appreciate it. And it's not because that you're ashamed of what you're doing. It's just that we're not here to do it. I could ask several of these guys and I'd say, why do you do it? Why did you do that? Well, that's my job. And that's the way we look at a lot of it. But I had some person come up to me finally one time, and it was a young lady. She came up to me and she said, why do you do this? Why did you do that? Why are you a firefighter? She told me, again, thank you for your service and everything you did. And I sat there and I was kind of thinking about it. She was telling me the story how a firefighter had done this and saved a family member, or the fire department always showed up. And I remember I just kept sitting there thinking to myself, why did I do this? And I could only come up with one answer. And the only thing that came up to my mind at that point, when I answered her, I just kind of looked at her and I just said, you're worth it. That's it. You're worth it. Guys, congratulations on your graduation, and thank you for your service.
Oh, that's hard to beat right there. Goodness. So many years of experience, not so many years of experience. I'm going to keep it a little short. But us up here on this side, getting to see these students grow and become more mature is a blessing for us. Some of them it's like herding cats, and then some days they function as a unit, which is great. So it's nice to see them become teams and build friendships and bonds. They're going to be calling each other and messaging and texting each other for years to come. We've seen it year after year. So it is a blessing. But this academy is not the easiest thing to start off with. We like to, as instructors, be proud that we have built something to where it's not you can just come in and own it day one. You have to learn the skills and learn what to do and learn what's expected and hopefully be able to thrive at that. This academy, we start every single day with physical fitness, because physical fitness in the fire service is very important, and we're trying to instill that into these future firefighters. So 5 days a week at 7 a.m., they are there ready to work out and start their exercises. How many of you thought that was the easiest thing day one? Nobody. One guy, we got one. No, he's lying, don't believe him. So he's in the military, he's different. Okay, so we start them out, we do these exercises, but we tell them everything's a competition in the fire service. Whether it's making breakfast or it's washing a toilet, everything is a competition. So as firefighters and instructors, we get to see this competition build in them. And we like to measure our metric system for the physical fitness aspect by putting on a simple physical fitness test 3 times a semester. So they start off on day 1, and we send them, some of them are prepared and they've read their syllabus beforehand and they've got online and did some research before the academy, but some of them never did. So they will show up in boots and slacks for day 1, and we're like, hey, it's physical fitness time, let's go. You gotta learn real quick. But we put them through a simple routine, and it's a 1.5 mile run. It's all their time frame. We tell them what their goal is, but we let them do it. So 1.5 mile run, then we put them right into push-ups, sit-ups, push-ups, or pull-ups, sit-ups, push-ups, and squats. And they have as many reps as they can possibly do. And what we do is we take these 3 tests and we see how much they're growing, getting faster, getting stronger by the end of it. And we have yet to have a single student in the 5 years that I've been here ever decrease by their third test. And this group all did that as well. And like I said, everything's a competition, and we're proud because the instructors, we use these metric systems to gauge how well they are and who's the top of their class. So we have little awards that we like to present at the end of the semester. The students don't know that we like to do this, but we like to have a little fun. And so there's 3 areas that we like to encourage them on and congratulate them on. One is their physical fitness ability. Whoever has shown the most physical fitness based on the metric system of these tests and how much they have maintained and led their academy by leading in physical fitness. That's number 1. Number 2 is it's not just physical in the fire service. You have to have a brain. There's a lot of head down workers in the fire service that are good at shoveling or picking up stuff, but we need a little mental capacity, okay? How many of you guys aced every one of your tests? Ooh, I'll take a 1 or a 2, I'll take it. Out of 39, that's tough. So mental is tough. We have to be diligent about taking the test and studying. So we focus on physical, we focus on academics, and then lastly, we want to make sure that when they leave this academy, they're not just future firefighters. We want them to be better people. So there are things we look for, and the instructors will talk about, but we want them to be, to embody the fire service in general. And we call it the Embers Service Award for us. And for us, we let the students as a whole pick who they vote embodies this award. And what this award is for us is who has a servant heart, who has great ethics, responsibility, versatility in the fire service, who communicates well, and who has great enthusiasm for their career and their passion, okay? So, focusing on physical fitness, I would like you all to congratulate this student as he comes down and accepts this award for the most outstanding physical performance during the 24-3 Academy, and that is Larry Briggs. Next, we have the Academic Excellence Award. This student almost aced every single test. It was apparently pretty tough. IFSAC tests are a little different, so I can't attest to those, but the test that Director Bennett provides for these students, it takes a lot of mental fortitude to do it on their own. Okay? We don't walk their hand. We can lead them to water, can't make them drink. So this student did very well on his academics, and that is Carson Atkinson. And again, lastly, is the peer-selected Embers Service Award, the person who embodies that service attitude and heart. And this is, again, all of this was voted by the peers. And this 24-3 class chose Christian Grimes. You can see he's a little more humble than the rest of them. Now I'd like to introduce just a couple of our instructors that we have here. We have shift workers that are on shift right now, so they couldn't be here with us of those 25. But I'm just going to, around the room, just list some names because I want the students to show some appreciation for the guys that have helped train them in these skills. Starting in the back, we have Instructor James Herman from Oklahoma City Fire Department. Sam Davis, Midwest City Fire Department. Instructor Bowen with a beautiful mustache. Go ahead and stand up for us. Let everybody see that thing. We all wish we could have this. Our functional fitness guru, Annette Zapp. She's here for us. We love that. Tim Sullivan with Oklahoma City Fire Department. We have Tevin the Rock Johnson with Wagner Fire Department. I'm sorry. Anytime I get the chance, I'm going to do it. Oh, no, we're not talking about that. Instructor Durham, again, another beautiful mustache. Trenton Slattery with Moore Fire Department. So these last two are a couple of our new instructors. They're from Yukon Fire Department, am I right? No, Oklahoma City and then Yukon. See, I got one of them. We've had 6 different instructors this last one. It's horrible. So, Oklahoma City and Yukon. With y'all coming in, did you find it very easy to teach the students, or was it a learning aspect for you guys? Yes. We love to see it. So, with all these different departments coming in, we all teach a different way. Everyone learns and does something different in their departments, but we have to teach the basics to these guys because that's where they're going to start from, and we're very proud of that. In that aspect, we have Instructor Johnson. Something that he has taught these students is really just diligence and doing things to a T and to a standard. And one of the things we do is the class dismissal, and he's going to bring up that for us today. After that, we're going to release the academy to go and take a group picture at their training facility, which is right behind us in the metal building. We encourage all of you guys over there to do it. Yeah, we got to do the main part we're here for. I'm getting ahead of myself. We'll do that and then we'll do the dismissal. But see, itineraries are pointless. I don't make those at all. But so we'll do that and then we'll take the class picture next door, and we encourage all of you guys to be there. All right. So class 24-3, please stand. Can I give my instructors for the certificates and awards? Okay, as I call your name, please come across, obtain your certificate, your challenge coin from OSU-OKC, and your patch, and complete your certificate by taking a picture with your director, Director Bennett. Carson Atkinson. Logan Alden. Jimmy Allen. Ryan Belcher. Jared Benjamin. Tyler Blevins. Larry Briggs. Jermaine Chestnut. Ben Childress. Keegan Copeland. Hayden Craig. Jaden Dinwiddie. Reese Drennan. Jacob Eddy. Briar Ellison. Parker Fairbanks. Ryan Goodwin. Caleb Greenwood. Christian Grimes. Jacob Hayes. Hayden Hildebrand. Connor Hopkins. Caden Curley. Taylor King. Ransom Lewis. Skylar Mayer. Dylan Miller. Macklin Mongold. Andrew Poulter. Brendan Presley. Peyton Ricketts. Silas Sperry. Braden Stover. Coy Todd Jr. Carlos Torres. Jack Turpin. Ryan Victor. Tyler Whiteley. Okay, at this time I'm going to have instructor Tevin Johnson come up and give a little speech for us.
Thanks, Steve.
There you go. No, I'll take you stand up. Hello. I'm Tevin.
Hey, you're right.
Awkward introduction, thanks to Nate. But I'm Tevin Johnson. I've been with OSU for going on about 5 years now. I've been with Edmond for 7 years, and I've been in the military for 12 years. I'm currently still in. So on day one, when they meet me, I'm really nice, and then I can get really mean. It's just because I know in the fire service, discipline means success. And we're dealing with from 18 to Briggs, how old are you? 29. Grandpa. 29. So we have a lot of different age ranges, which means we have some kids coming out of high school who really never had that kind of discipline and organization. So the instructors and myself, we like to make sure that they don't just come here and get their certificates, that they leave here better than they showed up. They leave here with a little bit more discipline, a little bit more organization. Clearly, like cleaning does not seem to be working because I only saw like 7 hands go up. So y'all might want to fix that. But it's nice because we get to see the growth. We get to see them show up as some of them 18 years old, just wide-eyed and just ready to take on the world. To day 2. Kind of like, what did I sign up for? But I tell them, we all tell them, trust the process. Becoming a firefighter is not easy. So we tell them it's all about how much effort you're going to put into it. If you really want to do this job, you can get this job. But if you 50-50 it, it's probably not going to work out for you. But we tell them, regardless if you become a firefighter or not, whatever you learned in this academy, you will carry on for the rest of your life because you will be mentally, physically, and emotionally tested in this academy. And I know if I asked them, all hands would get raised on did they learn something about themselves in this academy. So if they do learn anything, that's what we want to learn the most, is learn how far you can go, how late you can stay up and study, how you can show up every day, even though your body is sore from that first week of PT. So
But before I get to the dismissal, I want them to acknowledge y'all, because without y'all, they wouldn't be here. And they're joining a career where it sacrifices a lot of their time with y'all. And it sacrifices your time with them. And truthfully, it's harder on y'all than it is on us. It's fun for us to go to work. We get to go hang out at the firehouse and talk and joke and watch movies and eat dinner together. And there's nights where y'all are just wondering if we're gonna come home in the morning. So I want y'all to acknowledge them and give them a round of applause, because you wouldn't be here without them. So with that, with dismissal, I will call them to attention, and they will sound off with 24-3. We should really record the first time they do it, because it's hilarious, like a bunch of seagulls just yapping because they can't get in sync. You will see how far they have come, all right? But I wanted to say thank y'all for coming, and thank y'all for supporting them through this academy. All right, group, let's end jump.
Attention!
24-3! Dismissed. Thank you.
All right, please join us at the stables right behind. We'll take some pictures. Let the kids.